Chain chart, T feel, tell a sound boy, better stay calm, boy, cool.
Welcome back, people. Episode 2 for season 3. My name is Kay and I'll be your host for today. If you can hear this song right now, this song is called We Connected. Life is UKG, wicked album made by Jerome the Chef, and you can find that album on wearekinsman.com/Jerome the Chef. It's on the screen for you now too. All right. Please, we always ask around liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. It is important. This message is not just for us and it's not just for you. Share it. It's free and it's for you. Yeah? Nice one. Also like to say around the table that we are building, opportune time. We have our website. You heard this in season 3, episode 1. www.onesaf.co.uk. That is www.onesaf.co.uk. We are live and we are running. Yeah, please check out their website. It is part of this build. So why are we here? We are here today to talk about sitting on the table. If you have listened to the previous episode in season 2, episode 7, season 2, episode 10, you will see this is the third installment of the table and how we are building and how we are functioning as a business and as a group. And we implore you to listen to them because it will help you to make sense of this current episode. Season 2, episode 7 talked about us as nomads in the metaphorical state, understanding each other, understanding ourselves, and understanding the environment that we are in, as well as picking an opportune environment to set up base. Season 2, episode 10 went into the establishment of that table being the business, the structure and how it will function, as well as each person's role and what different type of resources we will need to build this table. Reflecting upon ourselves, questioning, are we the same people in our nomadic state now that we are building this table? And if not, is that a positive or a negative? And we work on those aspects. And finally, grafting. Nothing can be done if we're just talking. Nothing. It's good to talk, it's good to plan, but then it's time to do. Yeah? And the grafting is what we are doing. So this brings us in full circle to this episode, which is about sitting at that table that we have built and we have chose the location for and what it means to us. I just want to throw a quick little bit of information out there for you listeners. For businesses within the UK, according to UK Business Mentoring, on average, every year in the UK, over 304,000 businesses will fail. By contrast, each year, 360,000 businesses will be created. That's every year. Now, we can successfully say that is not us in regards to the failing part. Why is that? We'll get into that. All right, boys, when I bring you, man, in, we have this table that we have now, yes? Greet the people then, come on.
Yes, man, we're back. Episode 2, season 3, here we go.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. We have this table now, boys, man. Like, we've worked so hard for this, man. We worked so hard for this. We're trying to understand what this is, how we function, what our roles and responsibilities are, and how to really make this something that is sustainable and successful. What's your thoughts and feelings around this table that we now have, man, now that we're actually sitting here?
A feeling of pride, man. Proud, first and foremost. Proud of myself, proud of you guys, proud of what we've begun to build. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah, it's hard work. I'm not even gonna lie. It's hard work to maintain a table, like in anything, any furniture or anything that you buy new, you have to maintain it. If not, it will disintegrate or depreciate very quickly. So you can either just let it stand and just let it collect dust, or you can polish the table, you can re-enhance it, you can do various things to new items or new equipment that you obtain, and that's where the hard work comes into it. You can either just let it sit, collect dust, and you know what will happen if it does that, or you can upgrade, you can polish, you can do this, you can refurbish, or even combine. So yeah, that would be my take on it right now.
Blessings for that, man. And that's so important what you mentioned there, around the different aspects on what you can do with that table now you're sitting there. Yeah, you can't let it stagnate. You can't let it turn into an antique, a vintage. Yeah. I just want to draw upon Jay a little bit. You mentioned about you're proud. That's a very, as far as I'm concerned, a rare thing to talk amongst Black men, to look at each other and say, I'm proud of you. Like, what made you come out and say that, man?
Just looking at our history as one SAF DNA, people from that background, it's very rare that we would come together as a collective to do something positive. Trust each other, not only trust ourselves, but more importantly, trust each other. Do you know what I'm saying? And for that, I'm very proud of.
Bless, man. Respect.
Yeah, man. That's levels. That trust, that's a big thing, especially for us, because you know what the stereotype is, right? And I have to say as well, because I
100.
didn't jump on at the start about how I'm feeling about, obviously, now we're on that table. For me, I think at the start, there was a bit of fear there. I'm not going to lie. It was looking yourself in the mirror and say, can you really do this? Are you about this? Right? And then you turn up every week, you do things, and it's a tick box. That's done. Oh, wow. That's done. Wow. We're moving. Oh, the business is registered. Oh, we've got a website now. Oh, we've got merch now. Do you see what I'm saying? And those stages, it's like a confidence builder. It's a good feeling. Not gonna lie. It's a real good feeling.
Definitely feels good.
The other thing as well, I have to stress on is the fact that the reason why we won't fail is because we've got each other.
Okay.
As individuals, it might have been 10 times, even 1,000 times harder. But we've got each other where we can pull each other up, man. You know, where I don't know, K's gonna know, J's gonna know, M is gonna know. So we've got each other, and that's how our
and if
business
none
is
of
going
us
to
know,
work.
we're all gonna find out.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Wow, man. That's a lot of food for thought, man. Listeners, I hope you have a circle like this, man. And if you do, I can't emphasize what are you lot doing with that. Like, don't take that for granted, that you have a group of friends that you trust and that you talk and you discuss things. If you're all, not even if you're all working, but if you all got an idea, at least try to bring it to life, man. Like, what you got to lose, really? What have you really got to lose? You're gonna live your life anyway. Years are still going to pass, and you're still gonna end up in that grave. So what have you really got to lose? Try it, man. Try it. In regards to how I appreciate this table, wow. I always had a drive to build with my people, man. Always. I don't know what it was, whether it's a spiritual thing or whether it's a environmental thing, but I've always wanted to build with my people, man, because I appreciate them. I've always appreciated them as a people, even though from one SAF DNA standards and from the statistics, we are seen as the bottom, we are seen as the lower class, we are seen as the underdogs, or even the term underclass if you've done social studies, which means that we have no value, apparently. apparently. Well, I want to dig through that dirt and I want to find gold. And we are that gold, in my view. And I'm sitting at this table now, and other people might see 4 black men of little worth. Other people might see other criminals of little worth. But I see gold. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to cherish that. These guys who I'm sitting at this table with, I'm not letting them go, you know. What? You think you're not going to leave? No, because you lot are vital.
Well, you sound,
That's a bit
a
sketchy.
bit
That's a
crazy,
bit
man. You
sketchy
said,
behavior,
you
bro.
know
You
what I'm
lot
saying?
thinking,
If
you
he
lot
was a
thinking-
woman, bro, I'll be running a mile. Do
You're toxic in it.
you know what I mean?
That's for another podcast, T.
This ain't a relationship podcast. Jeez.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm just saying. I'm not gonna have something of value and let that go. That's foolish.
Unless he wants to be let go of.
Is that
No,
exactly?
no,
See that?
no. You hear me? You
No,
hear
you're
me?
cross. Wow.
Yeah. People,
Wow.
if you have something of value, don't let it go, man. Yeah, do what you gotta do to hold on to that. And I don't mean like, as these guys are saying, like hold you down or hostage, anything like that. If it means that I have to do a little bit more work to show them that I value them, then I'll do that little bit more work. If it means that I have to drive down to go and help them with something, yeah, just to show that they are of value, then I'll drive down. Yeah, that's what I mean by not letting them go. It's not about holding them, it's about showing them. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm glad you got that clear, because these guys trying to throw me in it. Okay, cool. So we've talked about how we appreciate this table, and thank you guys for sharing that, because this is new to me as well. We're hearing this from you. Okay, we have this table. We understand the value. We've set it up. Hard work, proud, grafting, appreciating the people that you sit around with. How do we protect it? Because you can't, if we recognize value and it becomes valuable, it means that other people are going to see value in it as well. And not everyone is going to be friendly in their approach. How are we going to protect this table then, so that it lasts and that it stays, and that we're able to have this base going into the foreseeable future?
That's a simple one for me. Insurance. Like anything of value that we have, that most people have, whether it's car, house, travel, whatever it is, you insure it just in the event of. And the same thing applies here with regards to the table and the base and the foundation that we create. You have to have insurance. So I'm sure people will be saying, well, what do you mean? And what I mean by that is the insurance is actually the individuals within that table or that's sitting on that table. I personally think in order to make sure that stays, we have to invest in ourselves first, so we can be the best versions of ourselves that comes to the table. If we do that and continuously do that, that's ensuring that, as we've already mentioned, that if someone doesn't know something, or someone, like, there's always a revolving or continuous movement of growth and development and sustainability if everyone's looking after themselves. So whether that's a physical or mental thing, there's no point you three coming to the table mentally broken, or physically not good, not looking after yourself. Because when I will need you, whether it's we're going to a meeting, whatever, and if you're, I don't know, you had a drink last night or something, and I can smell it on you, there's little things like that. That insurance is not strong enough for me. I need better cover. That's what I'm trying to say. I need better cover. So because I might have a day where I'm not 100%, I've got to make sure that there's at least 50% of the table that can uphold me. So yeah, a bit of a metaphor, but I think that's just the first word that came to my mind when you said that. How do you protect that? Immediately, maybe because that's for industries that I've been in before, immediately insurance came to my mind.
That's levels, man. Wow. The metaphor that you used there was strong, in regards to insurance, and that's something that is a key asset to us as well. Put simply, correct me if I'm wrong here, Em, but basically we got to have each other's backs. Is that the gist of what you're saying?
Yep. But we got to look after ourselves first.
Got to look after ourselves first, and that's hard. That's about balance. That's about balance, Em. because it's difficult. Because when you're running your own, when you're sitting at your own table, as well as working on other people's table, and you also have different tables that are involved in your personal life as well. Like that balance is key, man, because there is burnout. People can burn out. We've burnt out in the past. We've gotten ill, and that might be because we're burning the candle at both ends. How would you balance that then, Em? Like, what's your method? What works for you?
Meditation. Simple as meditation and it's not like sitting on the floor and crossing my legs and putting my fingers in a certain way. Just even I can be literally even working or doing a mundane task, but still meditating in that time. That's one thing that I've been able to master, is being able to meditate and just zone out of my physical sense, no matter what I'm doing. That's the only thing. Unfortunately, that's the only thing I can really share on that, and it's up to people to find what is the best way to meditate. Because it's hard to keep a balance. So as much as I say the insurance, and as you said, there's a lot of things that can be juggled. That's a hard thing to do. But I think balance of mind is more important than being able to physically balance between doing stuff. Like there'll be times where, like I say to you guys, right, boys, I can't come to this meeting next week because of X, Y, and Z. That's my physical sense. But the reason why I'm saying why I physically can't be in that meeting is because I'm trying to rebalance mentally first. So I know that I have to take myself away physically in order to keep my mental state correct. So once again, sorry for going around in circles or like sounding or talking in riddles, but that's the only way I can answer it, really.
Much appreciated, man. Thanks for sharing that, brother. Protecting the table. What's your views?
For me, it's got to start right from the core, before the table is even there, because I think that's the important part of it that we don't really touch on much, is making sure that you look left, you look right. Those people you can rely on. I'm not talking about relying on them when you're saying, "Oh, let's go out and have a drink," and about relationships and that. I'm talking about people you can genuinely say, I know if I've got one phone call to make, I will call this person to my right and they will help. I'll call this person to my left and they will help. And both of those people know they will call me as well and I will help. Do you know what I mean? And that's where it's got to start. Once you've got that,
100.
You've got a strong foundation. That's your foundation there. Things may get wobbly up top there, but as long as your foundation is solid, you can always come back to that foundation. That's the first thing for me, which is important. Just like we did when we started all of this, before it was on the mics, before the merch was there, the website's there. It was boys looking left, looking right, saying, actually, do you know what? We can rely on each other. You jump in, okay, yeah, we're doing this, family, we're having conversations, it's the same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Someone does something wrong, you get pulled up on, like, yeah, that was wrong. There's no encouragement, like, no, man, you done well. And you're encouraging each other to be better in life. So you trim all the dead weight and you move forward with the people that really want to move forward with you. That's
100.
where it starts.
Blessing, man. That's heavily hitting on the term bolstering. Like you're able to rely on your other crew that are with you. You're able to talk freely and honestly. And then the whole purpose of all of this is to actually bolster each other, to improve each other, to become that better self, that future self that is going to be the best version of you. So T, you has a element that I see as vital. I think without that, how are we going to be able to sit at the table equally and look at each other honestly? So that's levels. Jay, man, what's your views on protecting this table, man? Because we worked hard for it, man.
I've got a two-pronged approach And using your analogy of war, I look at it like protecting this table, like we're protecting it at war. Do you know what I'm saying? And like both M and T said, it's having those people to the left of you, to the right of you, your allies. You know what I'm saying? You go to war with people that you are aligned with.
100.
You all have that common mission, common goal. And then also within that, knowing that the table is bigger than all of us. We're not really building this table for us. So in saying that, we set up checks and balances to hold ourselves accountable. And if you don't hold yourselves accountable, listen, it's family, we're friends, it's all love, but friendship and business, they're two arms of a body. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as much as we're friends, but we're also running a business, and what we might let slide as friends, we can't let slide in business. You know what I'm saying? And it's no, don't take offense. I shouldn't take offense if I do something wrong. You shouldn't take offense. We know that this is for the betterment of the table and for a goal that is more important than our egos and our feelings. So us setting that up and creating that environment ensures that we're the best warriors that we can be to protect this table. Do you know what I'm saying?
Love that. Love that. As the people who know anything about warfare is me, so the fact that you talked about that, level up, level in, you understand?
Levels.
Yeah, man. And Jay, thanks for that, because that brings up another aspect as well when you talked about holding each other and being able to speak to each other and not being able to take it as a slight. Because it kind of melds into what M said and what T said as well.
Indeed.
Because if you don't know people, here's what we done. This is how we hold ourselves to account. We have a code of conduct that we wrote up, we've reviewed more than once, and it has the principles of practice, the code of practice, what is expected from us, not just as a business, but as work and business relationships in the business and outside of the business. And there's also consequences in that same document too. And it's been signed by all of us. Signed, which means we adhere to what that says, and we also adhere to the consequences should we fail to do what we're supposed to do. We're taking ourselves seriously. Yeah? We are not joking around. We need this table. We have built the table. We've put the work in, and we're not going to allow an individual, even if it is one of ourselves, to ruin what we have here. Yeah, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And what it does, it actually makes us better people, because externally now, we look at external representations. When I go out, when I socialize, I'm still part of this business. This business is 24/7, 365, man. So it's not like, oh, I'm only going to be the formal K while I'm in the business meeting. I'm only going to be the formal K while I'm in this podcast. No, I'm still K outside. And whatever I do outside is going to impact this table. That makes me a better person naturally. Because do I want to let my boys down? No way in hell. Do I want to be asked to leave the table? No way in hell. So I have to be a better version. It's no question. Brother, levels on that, man. This is hitting me home, man. Like, I love the fact that we have this table, brothers, man. We've worked so hard for it, and I can't wait to see how it's going to look like in the future, man. Okay. Protecting this table. We've covered that. Please, if you people are out there, our listeners are starting any small businesses, already have a business, consider what is being said here, man. Protect this table that you are building. I wouldn't say. Go ahead, Em. Go ahead, man. Jump in, brother.
Question for the group. We know what we're talking about in terms of table, and we kind of explained it in season 2 as well. But for any new listeners, or even listeners of old, what if we had to describe what we're talking about in terms of table without using the word table? What other words would you guys use?
Platform.
Union.
Kingdom.
Kingdom is the only one that comes to my head, man. This is not I can't even use the term business. It doesn't sound right.
Interesting.
It's more than a business, because when you started this, it wasn't business, was it?
Nah, it
Let's
wasn't.
be
Nah, it
real.
wasn't.
It wasn't. So we
like
can't use business.
the business came into it. It was already there, but the business came into it. So it's an aspect.
Yeah.
It's not what it is.
Mm.
What would you call it, Em?
All of the above. It's just the only reason I asked the question is because I'm trying to. We have to be conscious that someone might come into this either listening to this or wanting to do an aspect of what we've been speaking about. I think it's important that we at least give examples or elements of what a table represents, because we've spoken a lot about with other organizations or nations don't give us a seat at their table, but what are we trying to say? We're trying to say that a place of comfort, a place of home, a place of as I've said before, meditation, a place of building, a place of business. So just as a recap and just to reiterate, that's what we're talking about when we mention or use the word table. It's kind of like, okay, most people have tables in their home. Let's say you have a big banquet or big feast, or whether you have dinner during the winter time and you've got all different foods on it. That's what we're trying to kind of articulate. Like, it's not just one plate. You've got this dish here, this dish there, all on this table, and you can always come back to it. So I just wanted to just expand what we're talking about, so people can at least grasp onto something. Oh, they're talking about just meeting up and connecting and talking about social issues, or they're talking about business. Like, we've got to make sure that we are giving people like a light to see or to connect in terms of what we're speaking about. So just wanted to give a bit of diversity to us talking about a table, because not everyone might be up to speed with us, even though we're in season 3.
That's very poignant there, Em, and that's so true, because a table can be used for whatever you want it to be used for. That's the I guess the versatility of a table. You can set food on
Ironing board.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say, brother. Like, you understand? Like, you can set food on it. You can iron your clothes on it. Just make sure that it's not what's called got the varnish on it first. You need to put a cloth underneath it first. Or you can open documents and have a discussion around the same table. You understand what I'm saying? You use it for whatever you need to use it for. Yeah, and that's what we are building here. It's almost like a hub. The table that we're building is a hub. So yeah, so thanks, Em. Get the listeners, new and old, to understand and catch up with what we're talking about if you don't know it already. So in regards to sustaining this table, we've built it, we've protected it. How do we keep this functioning so that it doesn't wither or go away over time and becomes obsolete? How do we keep it going? Not just for ourselves, but for others to come.
When I think about the phrase work smarter, not harder, yeah, that's the way to sustain this. You know, we make, as a group, we sit down and we discuss and we make achievable goals that we know with enough work, it can be achieved. Do you know what I'm saying? And we take in steps. We know where we want to be in 10 years, but we also know where we want to be by the end of the year. We want to be in 6 months. We want to be in 1 year. Do you know what I'm saying? What we want to have done in that time. So it's just setting ourselves realistic, achievable goals, and, you know, taking baby steps, for a lack of a better term. We're taking baby steps. We're not rushing it. We're not making uninformed or like uninformed risks. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we're doing is calculated, and we're trusting the process.
That's a key aspect that you're talking about there. Because when you have a process that works, it should be replicated. There's no point in fixing what ain't broke. So, Jay,
exactly.
I appreciate that one there, man. And that's poignant for me as well. Because sustaining something that I see as valuable is just as vital as setting it up in the first place, if not more. If you're going to spend a lot of time and resource and effort to build something, and then you don't spend that same amount, if not more effort to keep it, why do you set it up in the first place? So yeah, that's my views on that.
That consistency, we can't sustain nothing.
I love that word.
You know, just turning up like we always do each week, doing the work. Do you know what I mean? And also looking back, season 1, okay, what did we do wrong? What did we do right? How can we improve? Season 2, we've done that. Okay, now we're on season 3. We look at season 2. What did we do? So constantly just looking back and looking for ways to evolve. That's the way I see forward.
100%. Consistency.
Yeah, everything, consistency, and I have a conflict or maybe contrast and view on what I believe in: working harder, but also working smarter. But I think before you can get to the smart stage, you have to put the hard work in. I used to always, like, that used to be my slogan, like many years ago when I used to manage people, because I was inspired by, I used to follow Floyd Mayweather. He used to always say hard work and dedication, and I used to use that with my teams, to when I was developing them, to become professionals in whatever they wanted to do. And that was always hard work, dedication. I used to always sign off my emails, hard work, dedication. We used to have posters. We used to always talk about it. I embodied hard work and dedication because I knew they had to put the work in to get where they wanted to get to. Because the jobs that they were in at the moment are probably the most strenuous and hardworking jobs anyway. But then, along with Floyd, like, he changed his mantra when he started speaking about working smarter, not harder. And it made me feel like, well, yeah, there has to become that point where you have to work smarter. But I still stand by it. Like, he wouldn't be able to say that if he didn't work hard, if he didn't do all the things, all the grafting, all the fights. Like, he broke all his hands and whatever, but he was still able to navigate through fighting, into a point where he mastered his art and his craft, where he was just smart about it. He was smart about his business moves. He was smart about how he fought people, when he fought people. So to sustain it initially, like us kind of being several years just building up a base, if we're talking about business and a foundation, to sustain it and to make sure we get past that first year or that second year where most businesses kind of collapse because the fire's been put out. You have to work hard. Without a doubt, you have to put the hard work in. You have to put the graft in. You have to dedicate yourself. You have to. It has to be, because no one else is going to do it. When you start doing things for yourself, you can't rely on a company or a manager to do it, because you are the company. You are the manager. So you have to be dedicated. And hopefully the sustainability will be that because we have put the hard work in, the people that will come after us, whether it's employees or people that will inherit the business, whether it's family or close friends or whatever it is, the hard work's already been done. So it makes the next step easier. I'll give a real life example. Just even a couple of days ago, I had to amend some documents and policies for our business. If another member of the business didn't already do the hard work and actually give, like, the basis or create the template of those documents, my job would have been a lot more harder than what it was. But because they put the initial hard work in, I was then able to be smart, just to kind of tweak what I needed to tweak, because I knew the process that was put in beforehand. And that can be as simple as that. Just, so the hard work was done already, and it enabled the next person to kind of take something on, to be smart about it, and to be able to kind of achieve their task a lot quicker than maybe what the other director did. And that's as simple as that: hard work, dedication, in order for you to get to work smarter, not harder.
That's levels, man. That is levels upon levels, man. And I just want to mention as well for myself, the consistency part that T spoke about, man. Every meeting that we have minutes. We have minutes, and we have minutes upon minutes saved that we can go back to for last year and beyond. And it is It is an archive of our mindset and of our intellect. And it is also a responsibility and a history of our table, of our business, of our hub, of our kingdom. And it shows the progress. Because each time we come back and have a business meeting, we look at what we previously talked about, we look at the tasks, and we stay consistent and we stay on track. That has some accountability. And if that accountability isn't hit, it goes back to the code of conduct. And that is about the consistency of practice. And that is about reflecting on yourself and asking the question that T asked earlier in this podcast. Am I about this? Am I ready to do this? Well, that question needs to be constantly asked to ourselves, from ourselves, because it is bigger than us. So this is not just what we talk about, people. We're not talking about consistency and knowing yourself and knowing who you're setting up with and looking around the table, looking at resources. We are actually practicing what we preach. We're putting things into practice. Yeah? All right. Thanks for that. So we're at a stage now where we are talked about the setting up of the table, understanding ourselves, building the table, and now we're sitting at the table. We talked about protecting the table. We talked about sustaining the table. And at the start, I gave you a statistic that shows that most businesses, or a majority of businesses, close every year within the UK, and only a few continue on. We're at a stage where we've gone past that year. So we're not in that stat. What's our next stage? I suggest that our next stage is, once we have the formula, do we replicate it? Do we expand? So what's our view in terms of how do we expand this table once we have set up a grounding that is sustainable, protected, and can be replicated?
I think we are in a bit of a unique position in terms of
100.
when we actually started this business. To start with, it wasn't a business when we started this. That's number one, right? We were doing it for our people, for the nationhood, right? And then we thought, actually, we could turn this into a business. But profit was not at the top of the list,
No.
right? So that's why I say we are in a
Still
unique
isn't in my
position.
eyes.
Sorry? Yeah,
Still
it's
isn't
not.
in my eyes.
It's not. But that's what I'm saying. We are in a unique position in the fact that most businesses fail because profit is right number one. Number one. Number two, number three, number four, number five. Profit, profit, profit. But we're not in that position. So that's also a plus for us.
I agree with that. And that's about mindset again, isn't it, T? If you start with a mindset, well, you need to understand why. Again, it's going back down to, why are you building this table in the first place? And as we said, the business was an aspect that came into the table. So we are not reliant solely upon making financial gains. We are upon building a nationhood, which is a mindset, which is a culture. So I think you hit it home when you talk about how are we going to expand this table, for example, team. Well, if we're not focused on the finance, would you say that makes it easier to expand this table then? Would you say we have other opportunities because we're not just limited to finance?
100%. Because there's a saying that work is not work if you enjoy it. And if you enjoy what you do, money comes second.
Seeing. As I say that again, man. Jeez.
Right? For me, it's like we're enjoying what we're doing because we know it's for a higher purpose more than the bank balance. So that will come. When it comes, it's not going directly in our pockets. it's going to finance other projects that we want to do, because we all work here. So we're not relying on this to pay our bills. We're not saying, oh, we need to, as soon as it comes in, how much have we made? And then we can share it amongst ourselves. No, we're saying, okay, there's a pot of this much money. What else can we do? For me, that's the important thing.
Seeing, man. Blessed for that, man. How do we expand this table, boys? What's our reach?
By continuing to walk, and actually starts making bigger steps. On the flip side of the statistics, we have to appreciate that because we have started slowly, and not put ourselves fully out there because we have focused on a lot of fundamentals first. Like we still don't. There's still uncharted territory in terms of how us as a business and organization will react to certain things that come our way. So if I was to have a critical head on, the jury's still out. But the thing that I find comfort in is the fact that we have spent this time. So that period, like you said, the 1 year or couple of years, and things go to pot. We have used that time, and this is what I implore any young upstart people, or even people that want. There doesn't even matter about age. Like, do the fundamentals first. I think this is why we're still able to talk in such glowing manner in terms of this table, because yes, we might not be as expansive or well known, but the fundamentals, all the administration, all, as we mentioned about the code, the little things like code of conduct and stuff like that, those things that actually uphold a business. Sometimes people don't do that, or even register in a business. Some people will be out there selling this, that, and whatnot, but not actually being registered. We know how simple it is, and if you don't, we like link in with us, like connect with us, ask us the questions on our website. Like there's options there to engage with us. If you're interested, well, how do I start up this or do that? Connect. So I just wanted to make it apparent that us lot still have a lot of work to do to kind of really understand the landscape. I'm confident that we'll kind of overcome any obstacle, but I think it's important to say that other people or other businesses that may have kind of gone down quicker, they might have started and gone at a faster pace than us business wise. So it's always good just to put it into perspective. But I think the thing that's upheld us, just to repeat myself, is we focus on the fundamentals and getting things right the first time. And just before I close, just going back to something we spoke about earlier, before the code of conduct, before any paperwork, because I don't want it to sound too like corporate or anything like that. Before any of that, before documentation, we had conversations as men, because as everyone's mentioned here about friends and business, we know historically it doesn't always go well. They always say that don't mix business and pleasure, or friends and business. But if you are going to go into business, or if you are going to build a table with friends that were friends first before the business ideas come in, you have to have conversations. We did, and it wouldn't be we wouldn't be us if we didn't. So before code of conduct, we literally sat down and said, boys, if I've got a problem or if I'm not happy about something with regards to how we are operating, I want to be comfortable enough to say it, and I want you to be man enough to take it straight up and down. That's how we have to operate, because not every organization does that. A lot of people will hide behind policies or books or HR or just whatever to not show how they feel, but we can't do that, because that means the business is built on fakeness. And for me, as a director, I can't be like that. So, and I know you guys are the same, hence why we will always have honest conversations. So I just want to kind of, once again, just add in a bit of more steel and a little bit more even insight to where we are, because it's important. Like, if you are going to do things like this and talk about this and even have these same conversations, make sure you have those honest conversations at the start. That's where the real accountability comes into it. Okay, so yeah, that's my take on it. Just to give it a bit of balance.
The thing is that what's the difficulty? Because you've explained correctly what we do. Not everyone might have that privilege. I'm going to call it a privilege because I think it's quite rare amongst us that we're able to talk and challenge each other. I believe that's the correct word. Challenge each other and hold each other to account without it spilling into it's a personal dig or what you're saying then. Nothing like that foolishness. What happens if people don't have that? Like, it's another rare attribute, isn't it?
It's hard. It's hard to answer that because really and truly, I haven't. I don't place myself around people too tough that can't have those type of conversations. So
Seeing.
my answer to that would be, once again, before you kind of, and some things might come out of the woodwork. You might know with someone for 10, 15, 20 years, and then once you actually start getting into business, like things start changing. But I would say just know, at least have a strong understanding and feeling for the people that you're wanting to interact with day in, day out, week in, week out. That's the only thing I can say, because yeah, it is rare. It is rare, and hence why not. It's easier to go into, I guess, already set up organizations instead of setting one up yourself because of all the stresses it incurs. But I don't know. I don't. My answer to that is I don't fully know. I have to think on that one.
Yeah,
personally.
man. Yeah, it's difficult because
But if I may jump in,
yeah, go ahead, man.
yeah, man, like you man said, it's very difficult. But all I can say is it will get easier the more you do it. There's this book by a guy called Ray Dalio. It's called Principles. Really, really good book. I would implore people to read it. And he talks about how accountability was key, and it was about like what we're saying, having those conversations. At the start, he says it was one of the most difficult and awkward things to do, to actually critique each other face to face and hold each other accountable. But the more they done it, the easier it got. It was like it's nothing.
Yeah,
So at the start, you may feel like, oh, it's a personal dig. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not used to it. But the more you do it, you realize actually this person cares for me. So they want what's best for me. It's not a dig.
100.
So yeah, man, if I can add my 2 pence, that's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ray Dalio Principles. Read it.
You're spot on, T. Because it's like marriage, really. Like, you say certain vows at a wedding. You shouldn't be saying that for show. You should be saying that because you mean it and you're doing it out of love. We had those honest conversations at the start. We had those conversations out of love because that's how much we appreciate and care for each other as men. So yes, there'll always be that little sting. Like, we're all human. Like, if we get a bit of feedback, it's always going to be like, oh. But if you know, and if the inception of that conversation was done in love, the person who's given the feedback or given the critique, you shouldn't feel bad, or you shouldn't feel like a certain way. You might feel bad initially, but you have to just always go back to, okay, why am I doing it? Am I doing it to hurt someone, or am I doing it because I love them? That's all you need to do in terms of assessing how you're coming across, or what you're doing, or what you're saying. Why am I doing this? Am I doing this for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? And that's where conversation and understanding your people around you comes into it.
The easiest way I could see to expand the table is just leading by example, which in the last episode I said is going to be one of the themes of this season. Do you know what I'm saying? And said it as well last episode. He don't want to just be a talker. Everyone's talking. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone's got something to say, but it's about what are you gonna do? And the only way I can see this table expanding is by being those leaders and doing, and others will observe. Others from one SEF DNA, others from other nations that might want to join what we're trying to do, but they're gonna see that and they're gonna want to be part of it. And when they come to the table and they say, "Hey, I want to see at your table," we could say, "Okay, what are your credentials? What's your mindset like?
There you go.
Get me, can you join this table, or would it be better for you to set up your own table? And if so, guess what? Like M said, we already got the blueprint from inception, from thought to setting up your business. We can help you from administration to mindset, what you need. Do you know what I'm saying? What is required of you as a business from the governmental standpoint, banking, accounting, legal, all these things. You get what I'm saying? Writing contracts, all these things we've thought about, we've done. So when it comes to expanding, it'll be just that little bit easier for the next person. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
100, man.
leading by example.
100.
That's levels, man. And of course, listeners, we are speaking about multiple different assets of what we have to do, or we have done, or will do in regards to sitting at this table. As much as it might sound like when you take a seat, it's like you're taking the weight off your feet. That's not the metaphor that we're using here. We're sitting at this table knowing that it's time to work. Yeah, that's how we're going to keep this. That's how we're going to replicate it. That's how we're going to protect it. That's how we're going to expand it. Yeah. Jay mentioned around aspects of governmental requirements. There's talk about legal side. Listen, we have not covered all the aspects of this table. Some of it is for you to do your due diligence and go out there and find out what works for you. Please talk to us. You can easily contact us through our website, through YouTube, through any of our social media platforms, on Instagram. And let's talk, man. Communication. This is how we said that. This is how we even came to be. We are here because we talk. And if you have an idea, if you have some sort of plan that you might have in the back of your head that you're thinking, you know what, I don't have no one around me that can help me to build this table, so I've just kind of left it in the dust. Dust it off, contact us, and let's talk. Trust me, if it's legit, it will lead to a meeting. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is how we must conduct ourselves. This is how we expand. Networking, projects, contracts, code of conducts. This is all what we need, so we're able to expand or even show you the blueprint, as Jay said. We're not saying we got the answer, but damn, we're here. And we're gonna, if we don't know the answer, we're gonna find the answer, because we are the directors of this business. We can't go up. There's not someone above us to say, oh, by the way, we don't know this. Can you help us? It's just silence. It's crickets. So if we really want to find out how we're going to build this business, we've got to crack on. And we've got to be who we need to be in order to sit at this table and stay. You understand what I'm saying? Cool, man. All right, that's been a real one, man. We've got kind of like let you lot hear about a little bit about what this table is, what this business is, what this nationhood is, what this kingdom is, this hub, this network. We kind of expand a little bit more, and we are so glad that you're still here with us through that journey. As I said, from season 2, episode 7 to season 2, episode 10, now to season 3, episode 2. Yeah, you've seen the different stages of this table. And when the metaphor first came out, you've seen the continuity of that stepping into season 3. Boys, are there any other comments that you want to share with the listeners?
Continue with the table metaphor. What do you usually do at a table?
Well, you sit first, right?
Eat,
Sit.
brother. Eat.
But the main thing is to eat, right?
Okay, I see.
Yep.
Who's providing the food? Food ain't just gonna appear out of thin air. So again, it comes down to doing the work to get that food to bring to the table, to sustain everyone mentally, physically, spiritually. That's how it has to be to move forward.
Man. Love that. I love that. It's time to eat. It's time to eat.
I'm actually hungry right now as well. So
is that a metaphor or actually hungry?
both.
Scene, man, scene. Nice
Just
one,
thought of
boys.
something, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wouldn't it be something if you looked at it like, you're the parent to your future,
Okay. Expand.
or for your future, rather. So as a parent, what you do is you're constantly providing. You're constantly on the lookout to make sure tomorrow there's food on that table, like Jay said. So if you looked at your future and thought, my future is a child, I'm the parent. I've got to provide for my future. How would that work?
Jeez. That's a deep one, T.
Just a
Yeah.
thought.
That's real.
That is food for thought, bro.
Mhm.
You're the parent to your own future. Wow. Okay. You know what? We got to build on that. We got to build on that. Scene.
Love that. Love that a lot.
You understand? Nice one. Listeners, thank you very much for tuning in to season 3, episode 2, Sitting at the Table. What you can expect from us is the next episode, we're going to be hitting relationships. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm ready.
So yeah, interesting one. Please tune into that because you don't want to miss that either. Trust me. You understand? All right, man. We're going to thank you for listening to us. We're going to ask you once again for the socials. We have to keep emphasizing this because this is how we are building our table, and it doesn't cost you anything to dislike. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to share. It doesn't cost you anything to go onto our website, www.onesaf.co.uk. It might cost you something to buy some merch, but it's decent merch. You're going to be seeing that on our screen too. We also want to say again, wicked tune, We Connected. Life is UKG album that you can find on wearekinsman.com/Drome the Shift. Yes, wicked tunes. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Kay, your host. Bless and have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you want. You understand? Bless up.
Bless.